You know, it's very easy to see that we're going to have a great year because it's in your eyes. I can see it. We are all excited about the start of a new year. And actually, I began to see it last week when I was invited actually by Isaiah to speak to the Student Government Association as they were getting ready to go on their retreat to Westcliff. And then the next morning I spoke to the President's Leadership Program group as they were getting ready to go to Westcliff on their retreat. And then I was invited also to the kickoff of the marching band. And I tell you, they sound great. And the most important thing that I saw in these groups is two things impressed me. There were already members in the PLP and in the marching band honors program students already beginning to take part in the activities of the university. And the enthusiasm, the desire that is in their eyes to get going with this academic year is something that is precious to me, because there is no greater gift to be given the privilege of leading a university that transforms people's lives, as the Chancellor so well put it just a minute ago. And speaking of the Chancellor, you know, when I first came in early December, the Chancellor told me that this was a university on the move, that it had great momentum, and that it would be my task to make sure that that momentum continued, that even though we were going to be in transition, I should try to do everything possible to provide the kind of leadership that reestablished the links that had been established with the community of Pueblo and the region, the excitement that existed because of increases in enrollment and construction of new facilities, all of that. And we have tried to do that. And hopefully, we have tried to give the impression that even though we are in transition, this is still a university on the move. And we are. So, some of the things that we did, I think we need to be mentioned, because there were many people who participated in this process of making sure that even though we're in transition, we're still on the move. First of all, we made sure that the university budget process was started as it had been planned. One where there would be plenty of input and participation by the different units. And all the departments and every area of our university had an opportunity to come to the budget hearings and express their wishes and their concerns. And we were able to, at the end of that process, to make some adjustments to our budget for this year based on the recommendations of every one of those units. We tried to address them as much as possible. And the end process was that we reallocated almost $1.2 million pretty much to the educational process, to instruction. We made some adjustments to salaries in some areas where there was a need, as they were mentioned by the different units. We made provisions in the budget to acquire new instructional equipment, especially in the technology area. We're going to start a process of replacing our computers and our software programs so that we can have totally up-to-date programs. We also made provisions to put more funds and more resources into the admissions, recruitment, and retention process of our students. We will do that. So that was a good process. And we're ready to start the new budget process immediately, actually, right after this meeting. Last year we started in January, now we're starting in September, and we should have a more inclusive and participative process. We're looking forward to that. Now, I believe one of the highlights of last academic year was the fact that we were able to establish, as was desired by the faculty, a new honors program. And as a result of that, we were able to attract outstanding students to our university. Several valedictorians and salutatorians of the area high schools chose to come to Pueblo because now there is a program that will address the needs of these high-achieving, high-involvement students. We're very proud of that. We also got involved with the legislature, and at the request of the Dean of Engineering, Education, Health, Recreation, that's a long name, and the director of the nursing program, we requested our legislators to see if they could introduce legislation to change our mission so that we could offer a doctorate in nursing practice. And that was accomplished and achieved. So now we have a mission that allows us to offer selected doctoral programs, and our faculty are working very hard to develop that program and have it established by 2015. Perhaps one of the most important things that were done as we tried to maintain that momentum was to see that the leadership of the university would be very involved with the community of Pueblo. The university was seen as that place up on the hill, strange from the community, and the establishment of new sports, the construction of new facilities, and as we dedicated that beautiful new library that we have, it was clear that the links between the community of Pueblo and the university have been reestablished. There is a new connection there. So as president of the university, I made sure that I would represent the university in every single function that I was asked to attend. So we were involved. I never missed a single meeting of the Chamber of Commerce, or the Latino Chamber of Commerce, or the Pueblo Economic Development Corporation. Those are important institutions in our community, and our university has an obligation to be a part of them. And we were, and we need to continue to do so. So, during our library dedication, I made a statement that this connection that exists now between the community of Pueblo, this newfound relationship, needs to continue, because what is good for CSU-Pueblo is good for Pueblo, and vice versa. We need to become a larger part of our community. We need to come down from the hill, if you will, because as we do that, then our community will be coming up the hill to become a part of our university. And we saw it last year. We had a fundraiser, the President's Gala, and 500 citizens in Pueblo came to this hall to express their support for our scholarship fundraiser. Our athletic program held a lobster bake, and they also had nearly 500 people come to this location to contribute to the development of our athletic programs and the development of our university. We need to do more and more of that. And while we continue to be in transition, I will continue to be a part of this community, because it is important for the city of Pueblo to see that this university is their university. So as we start a new academic year, and as we are still in transition, again, the plan is the same. We're on the move. And we're going to be doing some things that will keep moving us forward. And here are some of the things that we're going to be doing. On the academic side, Provost Peter Dorhout is already hard at work in preparing the groundwork to refresh, that's the term he uses, refresh our strategic plan. Primarily with a view, believe it or not, to the year 2016. That's long-range planning, for sure. And that's, again, another evidence that we're not going to just sit here and wait for the new leadership to arrive. We're going to keep getting this university on the move. And the reason for the year 2016 is that's when we're going to be visited by the Higher Learning Commission for re-accreditation purposes. And we need to start 4 years ahead of time because it takes that long to be ready for that. So he's starting that process, and you will become a part of it. We need to do that. As I said, the year 2015 also will be important to us because that's when we need to start our doctorate in nursing practice. And our faculty are already, along with our provosts, our deans, and the nursing department, working on developing the courses, and our foundation is assisting us already in finding ways in which we're going to finance some of those needed changes that are going to have to take place. Now, 3 weeks ago, I had an opportunity to attend a program by the English department. The English department has a study abroad program, and several of their students had gone abroad to Italy and Greece. And after a very successful trip, they had returned and they had a symposium that presented the results of their study abroad trip. And believe it or not, they had displays all around this place here, and they had videos that they had prepared on the academic and learning experiences of that trip. There was not a mention of how much fun they had. There was not a mention that implied it was a touristy type of thing. It was a program that highlighted the results of an academic enterprise. And it was very educational, and I really enjoyed that. And I think we need to do more of that. We need more departments to be taking their students abroad because that is important. This is the age in which we live. And it surprises me, and we're going to work on that, that in our outstanding foreign language department, we're not teaching Chinese. We need to do that. And we're going to work on that because we know that it's going to be very important for our graduates to have that exposure. We need to do that. So, tomorrow morning, actually, our students who are going to fill our residence halls start moving in. And tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have 1,500 students and parents attend the student convocation in Massaria Arena. This is part of that stream of life that flows through our university year after year. It's a new process. We start anew. And as we move through the years, we lose some of those students. And as you well know, Peter Dorhout conducted 3 summits this past spring. One was with regards to retention. What can we do to help those students who run into difficulties stay in college and be successful? We're going to have many programs where we're going to have a greater degree of intentionality, and perhaps the best word is intrusiveness, to make sure that those students are successful. We are going to do that. We're going to put more resources into the admissions and recruitment process. I mentioned the honors program. One of the things that we're going to do, and as you know, first of all, I should mention that we concentrated last semester in establishing or reminding people of how good our faculty are. And you remember, we told people that we had outstanding faculty at our university, that we have outstanding graduates. We told people that we have attracted outstanding students to our honors program. We're going to continue to do that because the success of a university depends on its reputation. At a board retreat, a consultant that the chancellor brought for the board retreat said that this is a reputational business. And how successful you are depends on your reputation. And your reputation cannot be established unless, first of all, people know how good you are, and unless people are constantly reminded that we're good. And we're going to do that. How are we going to do that? We started with the honors program, and we tell people we are attracting the outstanding students. We're going to start another program this fall. As you know, the newspaper publishes a list of the outstanding honor students at each high school. List of seniors who have 4.0 GPA, those who have 3.75 to 4.0, the juniors who are in that category, the sophomores who are in those categories, the outstanding top % of every high school in the area. We have taken the list of every one of those juniors that were listed in those high schools, and they're going to be our target for next year. We're going to try to convince them, every single one of them, to stay home and attend CSU-Pueblo. So we know we're not going to get all of them, but we're going to try to keep them here because this is where they belong, simply because this is where they can get a great education with great faculty and with great facilities. In addition to that, we're going to increase the amount of promotion that this university does. It is important for the whole state of Colorado to know that there is another Colorado State University, and that is located in Pueblo, Colorado. So you will be hearing more on the television screens, the radio commercials, the newspapers across the state about CSU Pueblo. Now, as part of the budgeting process, as I mentioned a while ago, as we concentrated on how we can be more efficient and more productive, you all identified for us some of the areas in which we needed to place emphasis, and we redirected $1.2 million to the academic side of the enterprise. And it all came mostly from administration, from the President's office, and areas like that. Another important area that I believe we need to concentrate also is in the productivity of our university as much as possible. And Dr. Gentry mentioned the start of a process in which you are all going to be asked to participate. What he's talking about is that I am going to form a task force or a committee with representation from every area of the university, the faculty, the staff, classified staff, admin pro, you name it, students, to discuss the lengthening of the academic semester. Because we need to provide our students as much time on task as possible. Consequently, I'm going to ask this task force to make a recommendation on the lengthening of the semester to me by the end of October. So we are not going to wait a whole year to get a decision or a recommendation. It's going to be a fast 2-month process during which I hope all the issues regarding this interesting proposal will be discussed and a recommendation will be forthcoming. Let me finish my remarks by addressing a very important part that I mentioned already, the relationship that exists between the university and Pueblo County. We know that we are going to have several demonstrations of this new relationship. We are going to have on our campus a national championship in wrestling coming in March on Division II. We're going to have a national track and field Division II championship on our campus in May and the following year. That's 3 national championships that have been awarded to us, not just because we have good programs, but also because we had the support of the community. Those championships are not awarded unless there is clear evidence that there is a community that stands behind a university. That's another evident sign of how close Pueblo is to CSU-Pueblo these days. We're going to have a football game nationally televised, another opportunity to highlight the university. So, as we do those things, I think it's important, and we have made this point at the last Board of Governors meeting in Fort Collins just a week ago. We have, in the last 4 years, built outstanding facilities. We have a brand new football stadium. We have a brand new student recreation center. We have brand new residence halls. We have a brand new library, all designed for the needs of today's students. But we have a 1960s student center. This facility is not functional enough for the needs of today's students, for the needs of our community. So our students, the student government has recognized this, and they have chosen, they have decided to tax themselves in the form of a student fee, to whereby they're going to contribute $26 million to the renovation or the construction of a new Ochiaro Student Center. Thank you, sir. So in the plans now our plan is to make sure that our residence halls are full so that we can continue to service the debt that we acquired in order to finance them. And I have to tell you that we are full. And we'll continue. Because we need to provide our board assurances that that debt is going to be serviced before they give us the go-ahead to issue new debt in order to finance this particular new facility. So it is our hope that as we continue to develop the outstanding facilities of this campus, that in the near future we may have a brand new Ochiaro Center. And this facility may become a one-stop center for many of those functions that are in the administration building. Visualize admission, financial aid, administration, business office, all in here, one-stop center for our new students, and then that facility becomes a new classroom building. So that is the future. But also, it will be a facility that will be in keeping with the new student body that we have, in keeping with the new facilities that we have, and also in keeping with the need to be able to attract to our university the citizens of Pueblo and Pueblo County. Because they need to come here as much as we need to go there, down the hill, if you will. Not downhill, but down the hill. And we're already beginning to make plans, to strengthen and get closer links with the community of Pueblo. In conversation with the Alumni Association, we're already talking about it, and we may not be able to do it this year, but we believe that the homecoming parade that we have on campus ought to be done in downtown Pueblo. On a day when we can have 20 or 30 marching bands from a different high school, floats all over the place, and we can have thousands of Pueblo citizens coming out to see the CSU homecoming parade, their university parade downtown. That's how you strengthen the ties between the community and the university. So, once again, this is a reputational game, as I said. Everything that we do must be done in a perfect way so that the reputation of this university continues to be enhanced. That's how you grow, that's how you develop yourself. And just like I did at the beginning of the spring semester, I would like to end with basically the same message that I mentioned when I was here. Reputation starts with what happens in the classroom, what you do with our students and for our students. And every student is precious. Every single one of them is precious, just as precious as your own sons and daughters are. And we need to treat them and teach them and develop them the same way in which you would want your sons and daughters to be taught at whatever university they are. They're precious. So, if we continue to act in that way, this will be a place that will have a great reputation, at a place where everybody will want to send their sons and daughters. So, let's have another great academic year. Thank you for being here.